What's up, everybody? Jughead's Journey here. Welcome back to our Let's Watch Hunter x Hunter series. Today we're going to be watching episode 94, Friend and Journey. So without any further ado, tune in, watch alongside with me during my full uncut reaction here, and then stay for my deep analysis discussion after the episode. So, Hunter x Hunter, episode 94 in 3, 2, 1. Let's watch this. KILLUA versus Rammot. Let's fucking go. Protect Gon for whatever it takes, no matter what. Which means killing this bastard. What are you gonna do, boy? Oh, brother. Get the fuck out of here. Ugh. And Rammot's like, gonna be piece of cake, easy peasy. Look how scared he looks. He's already sweating bullets. We haven't even done anything yet. And it's all because he's probably like, he's so scared of me. He's terrified of me. Are his teeth enhanced? What is enhanced? Are you overpower your brother? Overpower everything he's taught you. You ran away from your family to get away from your family and to be your own man. And you went with Gon. No greater split to go against your father and your brother than to prioritize Gon over your own self. To really tether yourself. To untether yourself, I mean. Your dad counting on you coming back. Same as your brother. And for you to protect Gon, go against your brother's all your teachings, would really show it to him. What did Gon plan? We know Gon's a romantic. I was talking about that last episode. What's he doing with this tree just in the middle of nowhere? Okay, sunset. Oh, okay. Time lapse. But you scooch together, sitting awfully far apart from each other. Whoa. Romantic. What was Gon doing collecting the leaves last episode, though? That's why last episode I was like, did he make this? Because Gon was just collecting leaves. And branches, I mean. Gon showing his knowledge. His knowledge and love of nature. And sharing that with somebody else. That is romantic. And I love how we're going to be cutting in between Gon's romantic cute date and a death battle right here. Metal electric guitar and Saunders music cutting back to them. Come on, KILLUA. What are you gonna do? Is that what he was collecting? He collected a branch and took all the leaves off? Is that what I was actually showing? Was that what I was actually seeing? Ooh, the fireflies are coming to the branch. And it's gonna form like a What a romantic, man. She could cry. Happy tears. What an amazing date. Are you about to let her down? But what? Nobody wants to hear a butt on a date. What do you truly want? Oh. I have to find my father. I have to get better. I have to get back in NGL. I don't got time for women right now. I gotta train with my bro. How is she gonna take this? She gonna go back to the Palm I've known for a few episodes? Is the beautiful facade about to go away? I don't think it is. The silence is telling me... Ah! Wait, was that like a... What are you talking about? Because he's the delusional one? Because I know she really has a crush on Knov. He's just, get out of my head! Get out of my head! Whatever a lobotomy is that can make you better, that's what Killua needs. A reverse lobotomy or something. Or the shadow cast eyes, that's when you know some shit's about to go down with Killua. Oh my god, he's crying. His fists up. He can verbalize it out loud when he's not present. He could never say this to Gon's face. Now Rammot doesn't like this. He's gonna kill him? Okay, what is that? Ching! Ching! This is why it sounds like he's in his head. Like he's talking to him live and not just like remembering the lessons he taught him in the past. I don't want to lose him. He's my best friend. Oh my god. Playing back all the memories. Simpler times. Ugh. Heaven's Arena. Hunter exam arc. Oh, when they've revisited Whale Island again? Man. Hell yeah! What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Hold! What the fuck? Did he just pull out of his... Did he pull something out of his fucking eye sockets? What the fuck? What? What? That's real blood. It's red. Something physical he just ripped out of his fucking cranium. Not Nen-based? I don't know. But there's nothing in his fucking hand. Where did he just fucking go now? And this music. Oh shit. Oh shit! Look at that smirk. Oh my god, the shadow cast eyes with that. Okay, this is assassin mode Killua. This is assassin mode Killua. You only see this in assassin mode Killua. Why is he smirking? What's in his fucking hand? Why is he giggling? This is creepy. What is that? Is that an I'm so sorry, I'm so close to the mic. Is that a Illumi needle? Was he actually in his fucking head? Okay, I'm doing what he's doing. There was a literal needle manipulating Killua. Somewhere in the past, Illumi planted a needle inside Killua's head to control him and manipulate him. Probably out of love and care for Killua, as in, because this whole thing was stay alive, run, 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 don't die if you're on your own. Instead of, you know, oh, I can teach you all these things and instill this stuff in you. You know, oh, don't fight somebody you don't think you can win, blah, blah, blah. But as a precaution, I'm going to implant a needle that forces you to, that makes you run away. So Killua's never been weak. He's literally been getting manipulated for years. When did he implant this, though? Was it before the Hunter exam arc? Was it after the Hunter exam arc? Was it during the Hunter exam arc in the final tournament? When would he have planted it? Because I'm trying to think of all the times where Killua was fighting somebody he could not win and he should have run away. Okay, now what movie or show... I'm so sorry I'm pausing so much, but holy shit, this is fucking huge. What movie or TV show am I thinking of? And it could be multiple, where there was like an inhibitor chip or something inhibiting somebody's power, strength, whatever. And then once they removed it, they were like, even where they were like freed, where they had 100% power again. Am I thinking of a comic character? Am I thinking from like a DC movie, a Marvel movie, some sci-fi? What am I thinking of where that has been the case too, where it's exactly like this? What am I thinking of? That's gonna bug me. But he doesn't have a mark on his head. Is big because now I feel fully awake, freed. The ball and chain is off my leg. I'm unshackled. You know, Superman with kryptonite without the kryptonite. Dash from The Incredibles. Once he was told go all out. You know, remember at school he had to go like 70% on the track team, but when it was time to go, he could go 100%. A brutal reality for you now. You're the one who's paralyzed now. This is a terrifying Killua. Oh! Ooh, I love when the purple comes out. We've seen that maybe only several... Whoa. That looks like fucking Renji's Bankai. Shit. Oh, and that's so fucking sick too. I just realized he's a rabbit and that's a snake. His worst fear. Oh! Oh! He fucking ripped it off that way. He didn't even... Not even like against Mosquito, who wasn't a, what do you call it? Nen user. He just ripped a Chimera Ant in Officer Nen user's head off. By palming it like Michael Jordan on a basketball. I don't want to talk about anything else in this analysis discussion but this. Holy fuck. Well, I guess there is blood there. Oh my god, they're gone. He's be like, oh my god, what happened? Palm probably went fucking crazy, right? He's gonna think, oh my god, another Chimera Ant? Like, did they get taken? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just gonna be going running away from Palm because she went fucking crazy. Follow the scent. He's gonna be like hiding behind the, they're gonna be running around the kitchen table, the dining room table. That kitchen knife. She doesn't look like the, well, those are those crazy eyes. Is this like Bart Simpson in the intro to The Simpsons where he has to write like 100 times? That's what's important. And Goen's gonna be like, it's okay, Killua, it's okay. I deserve this. Wait, what did he say? What did he say? What did he say? Oh! Why don't you go away? From a Chimera Ant. Oh. Is that 100% Killua again? Oh! And now her hair's all frizzy. She's going berserk mode. Jesus Christ. Killua carrying Goen again. Okay, those sounds are so weird. Is there another time Killua has carried Goen like this? Why do I have a memory of him doing this another time? Was this in like York New or something? Or am I crazy? Goen knows Palm better than he does. Jesus Christ. Bro, what is... Is this her Nen ability? Where the fuck did she pull this out from? I can find you anywhere. What the hell? That's dark. That is dark. Self-harms herself. Cuts herself. So she would have the marks as like a cutter. And she uses her own blood on this. What do you call this? I forgot what you call that. My dear, dear mermaid. crystal ball. That's what it... Everything would be perfect. You were... That is so dangerous. She's insane. She gonna look completely normal now? Wow, the tone of voice change. The man she actually has a crush on. Is she gonna snap back into it then? How do you rein this in? Like this as your student. If they're ready to see Kite in his current state. This makes sense. Appears you use your power without my possession. Because you fucking cut yourself. And draw your own blood. For a crystal ball to tell you anything. Now, is that even a Nen ability? Or is that like some actual like fucking cursed object? Like, is that an actual Nen ability? Or magic? And if you can ask it anything to do anything? Now, is that legit? Okay. Is he just telling her that to be like, to get her to stop? Like, oh, I think your blood is so precious. Keep it. But then he's like, use your ability only for me. Is he only using her? Only for Master Knov. Yep, who she's actually in love with. Ignore the 30 fucking knives wrapped around me. Just a costume. She's gonna be hanging on to that word forever. He's still 12? I thought he would be 13. A whole year has gone by. Why is he still 12? I thought he's 13. So she's 22. So Knuckle and Shoot have to be at least 22 because they look older than her and more experienced. So they have to be like 25, 26. Meaning Knov has to be even older and Morel looks older. The secret gold one? This is shit I can't get into. I have so many figurines and action figures in my room. I can't get into any more of that. I would have so many. Is he ever gonna tell anyone what actually happened? Or is he gonna keep that a secret forever? Do they not notice him there? Oh, never mind. He has to be a... the more I thought about it, Shoot has to be a master at Zetsu, because he trailed them for who knows how long in the trees, and he was never noticed. But Knov found him. Oh, she's back to normal. As normal as that can be.
だが、もうしばらく様子を見よう。その間に向こうも型がつくだろう。ゴンとキルアの精神状態を観察していた同じ頃。
Is this Chitu? Running fast as hell? So Killlua's never going to tell Gon how he really feels, like, you're my best friend, I don't want to lose you, blah, blah, blah. And is he never going to tell anybody? Oh, this whole time, oh shit. Are they going to be exterminating here, there, and there? You can't judge before you exchange blows with them, but he was murdering people. He was attacking humans, so I think he's ready to fight him. And this would be a difficult fight, right? Because he has to land a punch first, but he's not going to be able to in order for APR to start. And then he would have to make sure that he doesn't get hit by him to repay it back. Can't the smoke be used for something? Like, so you don't visually see him, you sense him. So we're gonna watch this fight next. So, let's discuss. Like I said during my reaction, I only want to talk about Killua this discussion. Yeah, the date was cute. Gon, friend zone Palm, and she went berserk mode. The rest of the crew is back in town. Cool, 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 cool. But I only wanna care about Killua. Killua versus Rammot. And the wild revelation today, the existence of one of ILLUMI'S needles had been planted and residing in Killua's head this entire time. Killua is face to face with what he senses to be a superior being. Not because Rammot objectively is, but because he thinks so little of himself and his own abilities compared to the pedestal he puts on all his enemies he fights one-on-one. There is something in his head trying to take the wheel, trying to steer him, something transmitting into his mind, telling him what to do, controlling him remotely. That's what it looked, sounded, and felt like for all these episodes so far. I was saying that during the reactions, hinting it to be the actual case. What's so manipulative about it is that it's so logical and helpful, but you shouldn't listen to it. Contradictory. Illumi is telling him, protect yourself, run, survive. It's good survival logic, but Killua has to ignore all logic, which you know is so counterintuitive to Killua. So hard to do, to defy all logic, to go against better judgment. But friendship and relationships and love and care is entirely illogical. There's nothing logical about love and friendship and companionship and what you would do for them. That's what the rest of his family can never understand. Maybe for their own blood and kin, maybe, but for a friend, no way they understand this. And never was Killua told to abandon Gon because it's Gon, because of Gon. Killua was told to run because that's how you live. Control is the most efficient and most powerful when it masquerades as being wisdom. That's why it hits so hard. But there is a tyrant living in my skull. Imagine how insane it is that Killua either knew there must be something physically lodged under his skin and he reached in for it, or the tyrant voice in his head was so unbearable he couldn't take it anymore and stabbed his own head to get rid of the voice in his head and just stumbled upon the needle. Here, Killua is doing what Bisky said. He is examining himself, his body finally actually paying attention to itself, that he can literally feel something wrong under his skin. And there's a term in psychology called an introject. It's an internalized thought or belief or even an attitude from another person that you unconsciously adopt into your own personality. You take in the expectations and projections of others, and they are usually authority figures, people you look up to. In this case, his older brother. How a child will, share the same values as their parents or internalize their parents' criticisms. If a child is repeatedly told by an abusive parent they're dumb or worthless, children internalize criticism and then see themselves as dumb or worthless, and that can cause decades of trauma. Or how a kid who is bullied might start to act like a bully to others, or how the abused tend to become abusers themselves, or how an athlete might admire one of their sports heroes and try to take on their mindset, internalize, the no pain, no gain catchphrase. Or, I'm sure you've heard someone say, like, oh, he's just like his father. Oh, she's just like her mother. Like father, like son, like mother, like daughter. Or, after a loved one dies, sometimes you might find yourself thinking what they would say or do in a situation you're in. These are all examples of introjection. And an introject is classified as a defense mechanism of the brain. So Killua is going through a defense mechanism. It's fascinating stuff. If I was good enough at explaining what an introject is here, then you know what Killua's introject is. Before we get to that moment, though, let's talk about the face-off itself. Rammot is the perfect catalyst here because his personality and identity is built from the same logic used on Killua. Rammot's whole self-image rests on his enemy's perception of him. Rammot also believes fear is governing. Rammot confuses Killua's paralysis with legitimacy in himself. He thinks Killua is sweating bullets, frozen in place, struck by fear, visible on his face because of him. And it's validation for him. When he sees calmness in Killua's eyes later, he must be dreaming. This isn't real. He experiences his own method flipped back on him from the other side. And this is like the first time we really see Killua crying, right? Like breaking down, tears pouring out, crying. We've seen tears shed in secret, Killua holding it in, keeping composure, no one else seeing it. And we've seen Gon openly weep and break down. But Killua here lets the waterworks go as he thinks of Gon. We see flashes of images of Gon pass by in Killua's memory. We know exactly what and who is on his mind, in his mind, clashing with Illumi in his mind. We know exactly what Killua is fighting for and fighting against. He's fighting against his brother and family, and he's fighting for Gon and friendship. Illumi's voice against memories of Gon. The family creed is survival first. The friend creed is together first, and his body and mind side with the friend. And what do the images of Gon do? They serve as proof to Killua. These are times where standing with Gon, his best friend, led to meaning and growth and happiness, rather than the ruin of loneliness and wandering. The images remind Killua who he wants to be. His positive memories and positive life experiences are like a counter spell or a reverse spell to Illumi, like a priori incantatum. Even the act of crying can be seen as a counter to his family's training. Like he's cleansing out his family through his tears. Killua allows himself to let go and feel the moment, which goes completely against what his family trained him to police. And Killua isn't just fighting for Gon. He isn't just fighting to win and protect Gon. The boy who invited him into a different world where days can be good, he is fighting for a clean roadmap, fighting for the right and for the freedom to move forward and to move toward the life his best friend keeps helping make possible for him. And you hear Killua, I will protect you because we're friends. You're my best friend. I don't want to lose him. Gon is my best friend. He's like confirming it, crying his eyes out. This is the first time he's verbalizing his emotions and his desires, his feelings about another human being and what he wants. In this case, what he doesn't want. Gon isn't present to hear Killua say it, of course. So while Gon's multiple occasions of openly calling Killua his best friend and being grateful for him and wanting him with him still goes, unreciprocated, it's out there in the universe now, though. Out there in the universe. Killua would be the type to willingly dump his heart out in front of his enemy or a complete stranger, but not to the actual person he's talking about. So Killua, he could tell Gon how his family makes him feel, what he wants in his life, but he couldn't tell his own family because it was about his own family. Killua could talk about Gon to his father, but can't talk to Gon about him in the same light because it's about Gon. He can tell Rammot Gon is his best friend and he doesn't want to lose him, but he couldn't say it to Gon's face because it's about Gon. This is his new vow rooted in affection. Whole story so far has been hammering the importance of promises and resolve, and he makes one out loud where and when it counts. And how do you combat Rammot, whose whole identity and drive is built on fear, with unashamed love and affection? Completely overpowers fear. More images flash on screen. Key moments since the very beginning, since their very first interactions. A Rolodex of scenes from episodes I remember so clearly. All of them just being the two boys being two kids, the happy, smiling, peaceful, rewarding moments. The only images that pop up on screen in his memory are all the heaps and bounds and loads of positive, happy memories, even after fights when they're all battled and bruised together, but smiling together. The only images of his family, specifically his brother, is the same repeating image of ILLUMI'S eyes that he saw during the Hunter exam. It's like a courtroom scene. Plaintiff, defendant. One wall, a testimony of boys at peace after pain, adventure, fishing, laughing, strolling, smiling, while bruised and dirty. On the other hand, or on the other wall, a testimony of hypnotic eyes and manipulation. Killua's joy is a movie reel of varied and specific moments he can pick and recall back to. Killua's despair is just a loop. Illumi is a loop, the hypnotic loop, the hypnotic eyes. And what do therapists, friends, people always say? You have to break, escape the loop. Those hypnotizing eyes he saw during the exam tournament phase when he killed Botaro. Illumi telling Killua he is not meant for friends. That entire performance from Illumi back then was about isolating Killua. He told him friendship would get him killed and make him walk away from Gon. That is the one time Killua has abandoned and run away from Gon. He technically already has before at that time. At the time, it just reads like overwhelming intimidation and emotional abuse. That Killua just cracked. And so was the needle present then? Already installed? The survival protocol kicked in because Killua cared about someone and Killua ran away? And, Killua must not run away again. He can't. He already did once. And now How close the two of them are today, no way he can ever again. And he's fighting off Illumi through sheer willpower, a literal master manipulator. Think about what it would take to reach inside yourself to rip out a foreign object from your body, like straight out of a Saw movie, like that scene in Saw where like the key was behind the person's fucking eye. I squirm just thinking about it. I don't like that. I hesitate ripping a band-aid off because it's going to pull hair out on my arm or leg. And that hurts. I don't even like taking splinters out. I just wait for my body, my skin layers to just lift it out, and I just wash it. I have tattoos, but I hate getting my blood drawn, and I could never get my ears pierced or anything. No. Some people can't even put contact lenses in. And this kid reached his hand into his head to pull a needle out from it. And it's both physical and metaphorical to reach down inside yourself and pull something out. A toxic foreign invader, foreign body. To reach inside yourself and pull something out. Both physical, literal, and metaphorical, symbolic. The needle is both. He screams, reaches his hand into his head, pulls out one of Illumi's needles. Set against a pure white background, slow motion, blood spraying out. It was framed like an exorcism, like Killua was exorcising a demon, his brother. The white background, the world falling away and becoming blank, symbolizing purity, cleansing, renewal. The blood spraying out, letting you know this is real, this is happening, and that freedom costs pain. He hurts himself, injures himself to stop a worse pain and a worse injury that's been going on for years. This is one of the best examples so far on the literal power of friendship. And there's so much symbolism, meaning, themes, metaphors, allegories here because of this needle. He dodges Rammot's lunge attack in an instant. Remember, Rammot is an enhancer, rabbit, Chimera Ant. He's fucking fast. You know right there, something's changed. You see Killua looking down at his hand, shadow cast over his eyes, blood in his silver hair, smirking like he just heard a joke, like the punchline just landed. And he isn't talking to himself here, he's talking to Rammot. You know, huh, he got me. Illumi planted this. I feel so much better now. I feel fully awake, more like freed. Kill was like so happy and ecstatic and relieved he can't help but share with the only one other around, Rammot. Also is like almost like an intimidation trick himself. After getting pummeled for the past several minutes by Rammot, it's like, sorry, fun for you is over. You were never really fighting the real me. You know, look, I had a needle in my head my brother put there. Funny, right? I just ripped it out and now I feel so much better. So now we can fight. You're fucked. Killua's whole personality changes. Like he was on a prescription medication that affected his whole mood and personality. And now that he's off of them, the fog has been lifted. He's feeling so much better, so much more like himself again. And I can't even say more like himself again. I can't even say back to his normal self because has he ever felt this before? If this has always been implanted in him since before the hunter exam, say even down to infancy, has Killua always existed with this like cloud and these chains, and now the sky above him is finally bright and blue. The shackles are finally off. Like when you see those videos of, you know, like circus animals, bears, lions, tigers, elephants, finally freed, let out on like a preservation to roam around, do whatever they want for the rest of their lives. And you just see like the curiosity and like the excitement in these animals. Have we, as the audience, ever seen the true Killua? If the needle was there before the exam, then we've only ever known a version of Killua under control and under constraint. So he's not back to normal. He's at his baseline for the very first time. and the ceiling has been removed. And Killua's not even upset, mad, shocked at what his brother did to him. He reacts like it was a prank, like, hmm, he got me. Or like, I should have known. Or like Killua understands why his brother did it. Like he understands Illumi's logic. Not endorsing it, but he understands it. Like he understands it was for protection, but sorry, dude, I don't want to be controlled. And if he had fury, his brother would win. I'm sure his brother would love Killua to be furious with him. Even hatred is still a relationship. Killua doesn't let Illumi even have that. Anger would just recenter his brother again. You can't be angry and relieved in the same breath. Your mind or your nervous system has to pick one or the other. Killua picked relief and joy. Just a shrug and a, you got me. I was just taken back by Killua's reaction, how little he seemed to care in terms of anger or shock. He's not crying, he's not vengeful or hateful. The only emotion he's displaying is glee and enthusiasm and eagerness. How can he be those negative things when he's just been freed? Because in this moment, he sees this as another huge step in being able to live his own life under his own control. It feels like, okay, this is a nexus. This is a checkpoint. One less chain or tether keeping him tied to his family. A little more freedom gained, a little more. Doesn't solve everything. There is still more mentally, emotionally, he has to navigate and work through. I mean, his family's surely going to find out the needle's been discovered and taken out. What's going to happen there? But right now, he is exuding the utmost absolute confidence because he can finally feel confident in himself. And again, can I say confident in himself again? Or is it he can finally feel confident in himself for the first time? It's not been his fault or on him. From here on out, for better or worse, everything he does is on him now. But he can view his past in some light and understand that his mind was tainted. He didn't have full control. It's not his fault. The onus isn't squarely on him, but now it is. And that kind of free agency, all that responsibility that comes with that can be heavy, but there's something about free agency and freedom like that is still like exciting and gleefully, and you know what I'm saying? I don't know really how to describe that, but because of that, Killua must also realize he doesn't have to leave Gon. At least I hope he realizes that. We have to witness that thought or conversation happen first. We didn't see that this episode. But his choices ahead finally belong to him. Even the 30 days and then I say goodbye thing, that was a vow that didn't fully belong to him. That still came from Illumi's survival logic. That came from the introject Illumi placed inside him. That was the introjection. He doesn't have to follow that anymore. It's void. In Killua, again, in an instant, faster than a rabbit chimera ant enhancer, decapitates Rammot. Takes his head clean off. Doesn't cut it off. He grabbed his fucking head and tore it off as he ran past him. Like Jonas. In one motion, ripped his heart out and ended up behind him with heart in hand. In one motion, ripped Rammot's head off and ended up standing behind him with head in hand. Like I said in my reaction, and like I said here a few minutes ago, it's like Killua had an inhibitor inside him that limited him physically, and like a prescription drug that changed him mentally. The needle was both an inhibitor and a drug. The body had power the mind wouldn't allow him to tap into. His head was filled with fog. with all that gone, Killua is more mentally and emotionally free, stable, and physically he can now reach a higher ceiling, skill ceiling, strength ceiling, power ceiling, maybe even like a maximum or output potential or present or output potential. I was trying to think about it during the reaction, but I couldn't remember, and I still feel like I'm forgetting, leaving out like the actual example somewhere in my head. Because I was thinking of all these different examples that are like this, and I still don't feel like I've hit the nail on the head of what I was actually thinking of. But it makes me think of, Rock Lee and Goku, who both wore, those heavy weights that slowed them down. And then when they took them off, it unleashed their true speed. Kenpachi limits his power with his eye patch that saps his energy, and he wears bells in his hair to make himself easier to find. And he almost never wields his sword with both hands. Nanami's cursed energy is limited during work hours. Dash in The Incredibles, he had to settle for third place at school during his track races to make it fair. But his parents let him push himself to his max in real combat. Same with the dad, Mr. Incredible. Once that robot cracked his back, he felt like a new man. Spider-Man, in the comics, holds back his punches because he would just easily kill anyone. I just love the trope of a character being held back by something, either against their will or by personal choice, and then seeing them in action once the barrier is lifted and you see them at 100%. I love that trope so much. So I love it here with Killua. Killua, a transmuter with the super rare ability to create electricity due to his childhood torture, trained in assassination arts, built for precision and lethality. He's always had the tools, but before, he was always fighting two enemies, the one in front of him and the one inside him. Now, he's no longer fighting himself. Everything is aligned, and you see Killua at 100%. Bro. But let's talk more broadly now. Let's bring in the family, his past, everything into the conversation. Let's talk about the needle more. Let's talk about Illumi. First, now that we know what was going on, Killua still deserved to lose to Shoot, regardless of the needle, first of all. Gon, he was due for a loss. I explained in depth to y'all why Gon should lose and did lose. And if you go back to that same analysis discussion, I was going back and forth saying Killua will probably lose as well. But I was speaking in meta. I was speaking meta, writing-wise, why he should or will lose. I wasn't really speaking plot-wise with the elements of the plot. I was speaking as a writer what Togashi would write. And that I would call meta. Kind of like cheating. So writing-wise, why he should lose or will lose. And again, I was right. He lost. But it appears not for the plot reason why, but because how was I supposed to know the needle was there all along? But Killua still deserved to lose. And he would have lost to Shoot anyways, even without the needle. Both of them lost because Knuckle and Shoot are just better. Simple. Knuckle, let's do Knuckle again. Knuckle openly told Gon everything about his bankruptcy APR IRS ability. He knew Gon's ability because Gon used it before. And it's so simple, and Gon chose not to take the token the first time. So, Gon's fault. Killua still unknowingly revealed his ability to shoot, losing the advantage. That spark in between his fingers. Shoot looked down, and Killua failed to notice that. He got hit in the face by Shoot and lost his eye, not because of Illumi, but because he was too slow in making a decision. Also, simply put, you fight the opponent in front of you. You fight in the situation you find yourself in. It's like how they say in sports, you play the team on your schedule. Doesn't matter who's injured, who's out, where the game is, who has home field advantage, what the weather's like, what players are on the team, the all-stars. You don't make excuses. You play whoever is next on your schedule. That's it. Or, they also say, a bad instrument panel, you're still flying the plane that day. Killua has had the needle in him this entire time. Can't use it as an excuse. And Shoot is fighting a child. Same with Knuckle. The two of them are an NGL fighting like a fucking undead kite, Chimera Ant Nen users, because we see at the end of this episode, Knuckle is facing Cheetu. Just much stronger adversaries than these two kids. And I'm sure I'm about to see much greater feats by the two of them, Knuckle and Shoot, which will greater prove no way in hell Gon and Killua had a shot at beating them. But on the flip side, think about all the times that needle probably saved not only Killua's life, but Gon's life as well, which to Illumi was the whole purpose of the needle. Had the needle not been placed in Killua's head, would he have stopped Gon from fighting Pitu? Listen to Kite. Would they all be dead and or puppets of Pito right now had Killua not been manipulated, shoved, controlled to run away? Likewise, think about all the times that the needle didn't activate Killua's flight response. Heaven's Arena. Killua was afraid of Zushi because it reminded him of his brother, but he just backed off. He jumped back, but he didn't run off the platform. He didn't run away. Killua didn't run away from Hisoka's overwhelming Nen. If anything, he was the one that encouraged keep going. He wanted to, but didn't fully run away from Wing. When Wing demonstrated his aura with murderous intent, he jumped back and hung from the corner of the room like Spider-Man. In Yorknu, being held captive or hostage multiple times, when he was held captive by Nobunaga, when Gon and Killua were Chrollo's hostages, Killua fought Sub on Great Island. So, was it because that was an easy fight he was prepared in advance for? Killua was the one to develop the entire plan, remember? So everything was optimal for him. He wasn't fighting Razor. They were playing a game of dodgeball. Even if it was a deadly game of dodgeball, nonetheless, remember he did remark, how his head could have been taken off had he not dodged Razor's spike. He fought, to go back in Great Island, he fought Binnolt with Gon in a very controlled training environment. He killed Mosquito and Rhino with ease. He fought Rammot the first time around. I must think then that the needle isn't activated based on ILLUMI'S judgment of the situation, like ILLUMI is remotely tapped in, like how someone can remotely control like your desktop. It's not activated based on ILLUMI'S judgment or perception of Killua's safety or danger or likelihood of survival versus death. It activates based on Killua's own judgment of his own safety or danger. And it's ILLUMI that kind of instilled Killua to have a negative perception of himself. And ILLUMI'S voice is amplified the moment even a drop of doubt or uncertainty arises. Because the Zoldycks don't operate and survive on uncertainty or risk or doubt. Once you're a master, perhaps, but even then, probably not. But not for the prodigal son who must be protected at all costs. If they cannot tame him, control, manipulate, protect him. I think the very important thing to also consider and think about is pretty much every fight where Killua did not run away was a fight where Gon was by his side. Killua wasn't alone. He braced Hisoka's Nen with Gon. He stayed in the room with Gon when Wing showed them his killing intent. York knew. He was always with Gon. They ran away from Nobunaga together. They slipped away from Machi and Pakunoda together. Binnolt, Killua trained alongside Gon. Gon and Killua were on the same team against Razor. Killua Gon, Kite, all each took on a Chimera Ant together in the caves. They were literally right next to each other. Gon was right next to Killua. Same with Rhino. Gon was right there with him. Gon and Killua fought Rammot at the same time, 2 versus 1. And then when Killua does run away from Pito, Gon is technically not by his side because Gon is knocked out. And when he runs away, he takes Gon with him. The only times Killua runs away is when he's alone and unprepared. And because it's implied he ran away from Bisky and he ran away from Shoot. So I think that's important to also think about. It's also important to think about or kind of theorize or ponder, because we'll never know, but when was the needle planted is the big question. This is hard to answer because there is no way of knowing when Togashi had first thought of the idea that Illumi planted a needle in Killua's head. If it was from the beginning, just, kind of imagine it as like on a little piece of paper, a note on a little note, like, oh, Illumi needle in Killua's head. And he just stuck it, on a wall somewhere to come back to later. Who knows? If it was from the beginning, a few arcs ago, or just came up with it during the Chimera Ant arc. Was there foreshadowing going back to the Hunter exam arc? Or are those just coincidences that conveniently work and Togashi went with that, or we go with that? We're making the connections. Did Killua fight and defeat all those foes in the past because they truly weren't a threat to him in the moment and the needle didn't trigger? Or is it simply because the idea of the needle in his head wasn't thought of yet and it didn't exist? Like in the final phase tournament during the Hunter exam, Illumi tells Killua he knows Killua won't fight him because he taught Killua to never face an opponent stronger than him. If Togashi, even back then, knew down the line he's going to want to show Killua removing his brother's manipulation needle from his head, then that is direct foreshadowing. But if Togashi thought of the needle idea while writing the Chimera Ant arc, then, he would have just looked back at previous chapters, previous dialogue, things like that to see what can I pick? What can I work with to make it make sense? Still impressive and creative to connect dots that weren't designed to be connected, but I feel like by definition that's not foreshadowing. Regardless, it works perfectly in hindsight because it is precisely something you imagine Illumi actually doing, and it's likewise a perfectly reasonable, valid explanation as to why Killua has always been so cautious and trepidatious and hesitant unless everything is optimal. Also, how did Killua enter NGL with it in his head? Illumi is a manipulator, not a conjurer. So is it a real needle imbued with Nen, or is it a Nen needle? If it's conjured, it's metal. If it's a real needle imbued with Nen, it's still metal, which would have gotten picked up by the scanners and imaging machines. But if it's a Nen needle, like how Paku's bullets are Nen bullets, if it's a Nen needle, then that would at least make more sense because he could enter NGL. In would probably mask it, or could in mask it if it was a real needle? I don't know. Or if being made out of Nen itself in the head, when there's a high concentration of aura in your head, I assume that's my, ironically, headcanon that, the reason why the Meruem eats the brain is because, there's a high concentration of aura here. So it makes sense to me that, like Kite, Bisky, Netero, Morel, Knov, Knuckle, Shoot, Kurapika, nobody could sense a Nen needle in his head, because to me, I picture it as just being, lost among the rest of Killua's aura. But let's talk about the family more now. Illumi, the Zoldycks. Illumi's version of love is control. He tells himself, the rest of the family tells Killua, What he does is protecting Killua from death by steering him away from any kind of commitment or high-risk scenario. Illumi's care is to keep Killua alive and breathing, not to help Killua become his own person. It's not guardianship, it's ownership. He has stolen Killua's ability to be dependable, to be reliable, to be there, to be a good friend. So the fact Killua has maintained his friendship with Gon says a lot, means a lot. The needle rewrote, recoded in Killua's brain that love and attachment is danger, heed caution. And the very instinct that drives all of us to stand our ground is rewired to make him run. Ripping the needle out is Killua claiming the right to stake his life and risk his life on someone else, which is the exact opposite of Illumi and the Zoldic's ethics. Like I just said, this is likely Illumi's sick, twisted form of love and care and protection for his brother. Control disguised as care. Illumi wants to protect his brother, make sure his brother, wherever he is out in the world, ever since he left, is alive. Protect the heir. He isn't envious of Killua for being the prodigal son, the prodigy, the greatest Zoldyck assassin with the most potential to lead the family and carry on the legacy. Illumi's never shown envy or for, talent skipping a generation, or Silva, Zeno, everyone giving Killua the most attention and care to the point it was overprotective, toxic coddling. Illumi loves his brother and wants to protect him. And it's not like any of them in that family would have taught the children growing up, what healthy love and healthy relationships look like. That family's fucked up. But one cannot think of them or judge them off the morals or perspectives of our world. Their world, this world of Hunter x Hunter, is dark and ruthless and unforgiving. That's what I love so much about the 2011 adaptation over the 1999 one. The juxtaposition and dichotomy between how saturated and vibrant in color the visuals are, and then how morally gray, brutal, vicious, unforgiving the actual world is and the actual story is. The 1999 adaptation is absent of this fantastic juxtaposition between the visual aesthetic style and the actual world the story takes place in. Like I said, this world is dark in moral grayness, unforgiving and ruthless. You can literally get away with murder so easily. Everyone's heard that phrase, get away with murder. Well, in Hunter x Hunter, that's reality. That's the case. Protagonists, antagonists, villains, role models, fan favorites, side characters, main characters, children, adults, men, women, young, old, all have blood on their hands. Kill and have killed. Watch and have watched people in front of them die, innocent or not innocent, by those our favorite characters consider friends and or allies. And the world, the story, does not hang on any of that. Analyze that, condemn that, comment on that, care about that at all. Just keeps moving, because that's the point. That's the world. That's the story. The vibrant, saturated, colorful aesthetic is meant to trick you of that truth reality or make you forget. Killua was raised the way he was because of the way the world inherently exists, which is a world that allows an infamous, multi-generational, legendary assassin family to openly exist in the first place. And because this is as much, if not more, a corporation than a family. This is a business. Illumi and his family are ensuring and protecting their most valuable investment, asset. There's no way Illumi planted this needle in Killua and the rest of the family doesn't know about it, or even requested it, even. Illumi wouldn't do that without permission from his father, Silva. And you think the Zoldyck men get married to their wife, like that they solely purely just love, they grow families and have babies because they genuinely simply love children and dream of wanting kids. No, their children aren't just lives. Their children are legacies. Their children are assets, investments, instruments. No different than how Hisoka views Gon. Unripe fruit to ripen, crops to harvest. Illumi born, great, awesome. Maluki, Killua, holy shit, we have a 1 in 10 million prodigy, perfect specimen, untapped potential. This is our golden goose. This is our Master Chief. This is our Weapon X, Wolverine. This is our super soldier, Captain America. This is our unicorn. Their priority was setting up the prodigy, Killua, for success, protecting the heir apparent, training him, torturing him, indoctrinating him, protecting him, preserve the bloodline, scale the bloodline, control anything that threatens those two things. And going back to Illumi and why he did all of this, I think Illumi's nightmare is Killua choosing someone over him or over the family. Killua having friendship shifts loyalty from fully family, fully him, the brand, to other people. Illumi's nightmare is Killua not needing him, not needing the family. Is Killua choosing someone else, like Gon, over him. Choosing Gon, other people, over family. That's why I think he also does, what he does. Killua's friendship, like I said, shifts loyalty from family, the brand, the business, to other people. And this is why I like the existence of the needle. Don't get hung up on the practical element of the needle and fail to see the symbolic effect and the emotional value that the needle provides to Killua's character development, deeper lore and exposition with the rest of the family, and the meaning it creates. Illumi was in Killua's head in more ways than one. The needle is both literal and metaphorical. That's the point. Killua could not escape his family. The whole point is that Killua can't keep running away. That's what these last several episodes have been focusing on with Killua. The fact that he runs away, and he can't keep running away. Running away doesn't solve the problem. He has to stop running away. Killua ran away from home the first time. Didn't work. Forced back home. Killed someone. Had to go back home. Tortured again. Everything that we saw happen. He had a conversation with his father. It makes you realize, man, it could have just been a conversation. Instead of stabbing your mother, running away, all this shit happened. Maybe if you just had the conversation with your father. Sure, that might have not been the case, but to me, thinking in hindsight, that's what that was supposed to represent. Killua's rash decision-making at the time, you can't run away. There are other ways to do this. He had a conversation with his father. His father allowed him to leave. He left home a second time. He thinks he's free. Quits being an assassin. Doesn't know what to do with his life. He's lost. Figuring out what he wants to do. All he knows is he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want anything to do with his family. Thought he left it all in the past. No. Can't escape his family. The past doesn't stay in the past. He has a needle in his fucking head. Killua can't escape his family. He rips the needle out of his head. Now he thinks he's free. Thinks it's all in the past. No. Killua can't escape his family just yet. That's the whole point. Killua has to confront his family. Confront his father. Confront his brother. Killua still has a lot of growing to do. A lot to manage. Taking the needle out doesn't solve everything. His sibling, Kaluto, is in the fucking Phantom Troop. His brother Illumi works with the Phantom Troop and will probably not be pleased the needle's been removed. His father is counting on him to return home, banking everything on his son's failure. You all know where the story is at in the present day. I'm at episode 94. I don't know what episode 104, episode 134, episode 144, chapter whatever it is. I don't know. Obviously, Killua has a lot more story left with his family. Obviously, we're going to see them. We're going to see that. Obviously, Killua isn't just perfectly good now. The needle was just a step. The needle is just another element. It's not the thing. It's not the end, Don't obsess over the concrete object, the practical element, the needle itself. See the abstract idea it creates and represents and allows Togashi to continue to build from. See the symbolism and the metaphor. See the bigger picture. I see the bigger picture. That's why I like the needle. I think it works. I think it plays really well for Killua and the other characters in his periphery and for the story. Not just his story, but the story of this world we're inhabiting. So, with that, tell me what you think. In your opinion, what do you think? What was your reaction, either reading the manga chapter or watching the anime episode for the first time and being shown and told Killua had an Illumi needle in his head this whole time? Did you like that? If you like it, don't like it, why? So, keep the conversation going down in the comments below. Check out my Patreon for exclusive videos and unedited reactions. Having said all that, and with that said, so long, farewell, until next time, thank you, have a good one, peace.